So how worried should you be about artificial intelligence actually taking your job? And are there certain careers that are more at risk than others? Or is the recent explosion of generative AI actually a huge opportunity? Let's go. With the recent release of AI tools like Chat GPT, Bing AI, Google Bard, and literally thousands of others, artificial intelligence has been getting a ton of attention lately. A lot of people are talking about it, and it's for good reason. Artificial intelligence has become extremely powerful in a pretty short amount of time. In fact, the capability of AI today is so impressive that a lot of folks have seriously started to question the safety of their careers. And to add to that, there's a lot of students that are currently entering college that are wondering if their chosen field of study is going to be safe by the time they graduate. So, is all this fear actually warranted? Should we all be scared of AI stealing our jobs? And if so, are there certain careers that are more at risk than others? Or does this recent explosion of generative AI actually bring huge opportunity? Those are the questions that this video is going to answer. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you are, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anybody else who you think might find it interesting. That kind of stuff really helps the channel continue to grow. And if you're thinking about studying in engineering or any other STEM discipline, be sure to check out my book. I wrote this book to serve as the true roadmap for anybody and everybody to have success in an engineering or any other STEM degree. You know, time management, discipline, mindset, how to become a better studier, how to do well in exams. It's all in here. It's getting a ton of great reviews and helping out thousands of students all over the world. So if you're a current student or a future student, I guarantee this book will help you. It's available in paperback, ebook, and audiobook. I'll put links in the description for everything. Thanks for the support, and back to the video. All right, so let's cut right to it. Is artificial intelligence currently taking people's jobs? Unfortunately, the answer is yes. According to this report, 3,900 tech jobs were directly lost to AI in May of 2023. And I think it's safe to assume that a similar amount have been lost every month since then. So it's no longer hypothetical. It's happening right now. Humans are being replaced by AI. And if we look into the future, it doesn't look much better. According to the World Economic Forum, 83 million jobs are going to be directly lost to AI by 2027. And depending on what study you look at, that number is as high as 300 million jobs, which means that 18% of work globally could soon be automated by artificial intelligence, with more advanced economies being heavily impacted than emerging markets. And then if we just look at the United States, according to a report by Goldman Sachs, 25% of work tasks are at risk of being automated. And just last month, the CEO of IBM is quoted as saying, "The company is planning to pause or slow down hiring in the coming years for roles in which AI could replace humans. The slowdown or freeze in hiring would affect back office positions and departments such as HR. These non-customer facing positions make up around 26,000 positions in IBM's workforce." All right, so that all sounds pretty serious, but there's quite a bit more to the story, so I think we should look into it a little deeper. But first, I think it's important to answer the question, what exactly is AI? AI is generally defined in three stages: artificial narrow intelligence, artificial general intelligence, and artificial superintelligence. Artificial narrow intelligence, also known as weak AI, is defined as machines that can only perform a set of narrowly defined tasks. Examples of this include Siri, Alexa, self-driving cars, Chat GPT, Google Bard. Basically, all the AI that we've created thus far is weak AI. Then the next level is artificial general intelligence. This level of AI is where machines would be able to think and make decisions on an equal level to humans. It would be capable of learning to accomplish any intellectual tasks that humans are capable of. Also, the achievement of artificial general intelligence is also known as the singularity. And then lastly, we have artificial superintelligence. At this stage, the capabilities of AI would largely surpass human capabilities, and this is the stage where AI would for sure be self-aware. Okay, so I wanted to spend a little time going over that because I think when people see artificial intelligence all over the news nowadays, visions of artificial general intelligence or artificial superintelligence is what they think about. When in reality, it's important to remember that all current AI is artificial narrow intelligence or weak AI. And then to add to that, most experts think we won't achieve artificial general intelligence for another 20 to 100 years, if ever. Okay, so now that we have a better understanding of what AI actually is, we can move on to the next question, which is, does AI pose more of a threat to certain careers over others? As I'm sure you've already guessed, the answer to that question is yes. There are for sure certain career fields that are more at risk from AI. So again, it's important to remember that even though there are thousands of AI tools out there, they are all only capable of so much, which is basically the ability to scan through huge databases of information really, really quickly. I mean, there's a little bit more to it than that, obviously, but when you look at what drives how useful an AI tool is, that's pretty much what it is. It's their ability to scan and compare huge amounts of data very, very quickly. I mean, just look at Chat GPT, for example. You know, it works by taking in your prompt or question and then quickly scanning through the internet or all the data that it was trained on, and then arranging words and phrases based on the probability of how often those show up together on the internet or all the data that it was trained on. That's it. So if you ask it something that's really widely known in a lot of places on the internet, then the quality of its answers are going to be really good. But if you ask it something that's a little bit more niche, or maybe you use a language that's lesser used throughout the world, then the quality of its answers is going to decline, right? And I don't mean to downplay, you know, the impressiveness of Chat GPT, because it's really impressive of how it works. I just want to set the stage and kind of be realistic with where we are currently at with AI and its capabilities. So as I mentioned before, the AI of today is very, very good at doing simple, repeatable, and highly defined tasks. So that translates to jobs in customer service, IT, administrative work, clerical work, HR, marketing, media, legal services, and some manufacturing. These are the job fields that are most at risk. So more specifically, these are roles like telemarketers, customer service workers, retail workers, clerks, administrative assistants, servers, graphical artists, accountants, drivers, paralegals, and medical coders. Now, some of those are at more immediate risk than others, because, you know, in order to replace a driver, you're going to have some pretty significant hardware that goes along with the artificial intelligence. But basically any job role that is purely defined by data entry, data manipulation, or paperwork, a lot of paperwork, those are the ones that are more at an immediate risk. So then on the other side of the spectrum, the types of roles that aren't likely to be replaced by AI anytime soon are the ones that require a high degree of creativity, adaptability, empathy, and emotional intelligence. And then, you know, the ones that aren't very repetitive and aren't defined by a high amount of paperwork, you know, data manipulation and data entry. So some examples of these types of jobs are doctors, dentists, engineers, psychiatrists, athletic trainers, you know, social workers, some manufacturing specialists, and emergency workers. Okay, so if we're zoomed in, those are the kind of jobs that are on either end of the spectrum, right? The ones most at risk and the ones least at risk. But what if we take a more macro view? What if we zoom out and kind of view the whole job market? So now things start to look a little bit better. If you remember earlier, I mentioned that AI is projected to take around 83 million jobs by the year 2027. And so what I neglected to mention is that in that same report from the World Economic Forum, they actually predicted that AI is supposed to produce or create about 69 million jobs in that same amount of time. And these are going to be in fields like data management, machine learning, information security, and digital marketing. And this makes a lot of sense, right? Historically, when, you know, a new technology removes the need for certain jobs, it creates needs somewhere else. I mean, just think about it this way. In 1940, 60% of the jobs that exist today did not exist in 1940, and that's all thanks to just the advancement of technology. So a quick, simple example of this is the ATM machine, right? When those were implemented, the amount of bank tellers immediately decreased, but over time, the amount of money and the amount of efficiency that, you know, ATM machines provided to these banks, it enabled them to open more branches and expand their businesses, which translated to more jobs added overall. So AI is expected to have a pretty similar effect, right? So yeah, it's going to be directly responsible for replacing certain jobs, but it's also projected to complement many more jobs than it replaces. According to a study done by OpenAI, which is the company behind Chat GPT, and the University of Pennsylvania, 80% of jobs are going to have 10% of their tasks impacted by generative AI. So that's what I mean by AI complementing jobs and not fully replacing them. So I think a good example of this is going to be computer programmers. I know a lot of you watching this video are wondering if computer programmers and software engineers are going to be safe from AI. And the answer is a little bit complex, but from what I was able to gather and the articles I was able to read, it doesn't look like AI is going to replace programmers anytime soon, but it is going to evolve what they do. So AI is going to become essential in helping programmers write,
debug, and optimize code, but it's still lacking in creativity, intuition, strategizing, conceptualization, and domain expertise. So on top of managing and verifying their AI assistants, those are the things that look like they're going to define the future role of programmers.
So I think at this point, it's more appropriate to view AI as just a tool, right? Just like the internet or the smartphone or computer, just a tool, but with the potential to be very, very, very beneficial to those who learn to use it well. Which brings me to the last question, which is the mass adoption of AI actually a huge opportunity? The answer is yes, as long as you position yourself correctly. Let me explain. So with this recent explosion in AI, companies are scrambling to seize any advantages that the new tech can bring. So this translates to brand new job roles that specialize in the implementation and management of artificial intelligence. In fact, according to a report just released by the World Economic Forum, AI specialist is already the fastest growing job of 2023. And according to an analysis released by Indeed, job listings related to generative AI have already grown 300% this year. So as you can imagine, the demand is very, very high. So these new roles tend to pay very, very well. For example, Disney, Sony, and Netflix all have open positions right now based around AI, and the pay ranges from $180,000 to $900,000 a year based on the applicant's background.
The money is mine. I have the money is mine.
So it's becoming clear that having a working knowledge of the capabilities of AI and how to implement it in the workplace is becoming more and more important by the day. Shelley Palmer, the professor of advanced media at Syracuse University, put it this way: AI is not going to replace you, but someone who knows how to use it well is going to take your job. And that's a guarantee. So I think it might be useful to view AI this way, right? Imagine trying to get a job in today's economy without having any knowledge of how to use a computer or a smartphone. Your options would basically be whittled down to manual labor. Now, I'm not saying that artificial intelligence is going to be as impactful as the computer or the internet, but it might be. So it's probably in your best interest to try to get ahead of the curve and start educating yourself on what AI tools can do and how they can be utilized. Because I think it's a pretty safe bet that in the very near future, those that have AI know-how are going to find themselves at the very top of the job market food chain. Okay, so let's recap. AI is already replacing jobs now and will undoubtedly replace millions more over the next several years. The jobs that are most at risk are repetitive, predictable, very defined, and are primarily driven by paperwork, data input, and data manipulation. On the flip side, AI looks to be more complementary for professions that are based around more specialized skill set, require emotional intelligence, empathy, problem solving, and creativity. With the adoption of AI, skills like critical thinking, communication, problem solving, agility, leadership, and collaboration will become much more valuable. While AI is projected to cause millions of jobs to disappear, it is also expected to pave the way for millions of jobs to be created. Having a skill set in the use of AI tools and machine learning will become essential in the future and is very, very valuable today. And one last quick thing, if you're looking for a nice directory of all the current AI tools that exist, check out futurepedia.io. Currently there's over 5,000 tools listed with more added every day. There you have it. I hope you found that helpful. And be sure to check back for more engineering tips, advice, experience, and information. But that's it for now, so thanks for watching and keep up the good work.